Good morning, good afternoon, whatever time of day it is that you are listening, folks. Thank you very, very much for listening. Today is the 9th of August, year of our Lord 2024. Welcome to yet another edition of The Coping Hour, hosted by Nicholas Zinkel, a.k.a. Moton Noah. Folks, I was scared about 2 hours ago. I was scared. I was I'm nervous. I'm sweating. I'm sitting here thinking, this is The Coping Hour. We cover all of the biggest stories, and we cover them from all angles. How am I going to frame the United States smoking the game, the semifinals game against Serbia? How am I going to sell this? How am I going to package this in a way that people can stomach and that doesn't make me sound stupid when I have to eat crow? Because I'm the one who's been saying this team is moonwalking to a gold medal. Now, to be fair, we had given some credit to Serbia and France as two teams to maybe look out for, to be put a pin in those two. And, and so what came of that? We almost smoked the game to Serbia. Against Serbia, rather. And then we got to play France in the gold medal game. So we'll see, okay? But we're going to get to all of what's going to happen? We're going to get to all that in just a second, because I'm still setting the stage here, right? At the 11th hour, what did we get? The three horsemen of the Captain America apocalypse coming to the rescue for the United States. Folks, I have not watched a game of Olympic basketball for the United States that electric and I don't know how long. Because it's not to say that they haven't played some competitive games, but when you factor in the stakes and who got the job done for the United States, oh my God. I'm sitting here at the risk of sounding like a basketball lib. I got real life emotional. There are moments throughout this game, namely in the first quarter, by the way. Fuck the fourth quarter and how we close that shit out. The first quarter, we're watching Steph Curry, who's never played in the Olympics. Whether it's injuries or Golden State had made a deep run in consecutive years, and he's like, dude, I just need an offseason in the Olympics. He just, for one reason or another, hasn't played in the Olympics. He's finally here. Honestly, hasn't been that great up until this game. He was just kind of, he had hit some shots here and there, but he wasn't, the Steph Curry game, just seemingly hadn't happened. And then the United States goes out and Steph Curry scores 14 of their first 15 and has 17 in the first quarter. Huh? By the way, they're still losing at that point because Serbia is also hitting everything and just in more rapid succession. It's crazy. There's a point in the second quarter where we're matching them 3 for 3, but they're still up 10. You're like, what the fuck is going on? What's happening? What is going on? And what was interesting, so, let me stay on the Steph Curry thing for a second, because as somebody who kind of stopped watching the Warriors a little bit, once it was all right, it's over, the magic isn't going to, it's not to say that Steph isn't going to have those nights, but he doesn't have that many of those nights anymore. And so to see him do it on the biggest stage, again, even if the team was still losing by the time, he gets to the end of the first quarter, it's he had 17, but we are still losing. It's not Steph's fault, but you know what I mean? I'm still sweating a little bit because I'm hey, this game matters. Can we tighten this shit up? But it wasn't about Steph. It felt awesome to see. I've explained this in the past, but Steph was the first player in the NBA to really grab my attention in a way that I was no matter where he gets drafted, I guess it predates his time in the NBA. I was no, in basketball, I guess is what I should say. I was no matter where he goes, that's going to be my guy. And again, I'm trying to condense this because I've told this story fucking ad nauseum. But so just the emotional attachment that I've had to him for the last 15 plus years, back to his days at Davidson. The ebbs and flows, we've all watched it. I'm not trying to say it's just me, but it wasn't such a sure thing in the first few years of his career. I mean, Monte Ellis was Batman, and Monte Ellis was a problem, for sure. But it was between, with the ankle injuries and shit, that it seemed every time that's between 2009 and 2012, every time that Steph came back from an injury, his ankle braces were a little bit bigger. They had an extra half centimeter in diameter. You were what's going on? Is he okay? Is he going to be okay? A couple of years later, wins his first MVP, and, Golden State becomes Golden State. And so to finally get to see him deliver for Team USA, again, we're not even out of the first quarter, and I'm thinking this. That's how good he was. That's how electric it was. And goddamn, the whole building knew that first heat check was coming, right? Even Dwayne Wade was like, here comes the heat check. And he puts it up from, what do you guys think that was, 37 feet? 38 feet? It was a long shot. Ugh, didn't go down. I mean, they would have had to delay the game because of the noise, and people would have just fucking started throwing shit onto the court, just out of bras and shit like that, hats. Like it's like it had like a damn hat trick. Although I guess they were in Europe, so not that many hats. Maybe a bunch of like flat caps and like the French hats. You know what I'm talking about? Like when you think of like a French mime, yeah, like a mime hat, I guess is. But they just wear those. And what am I thinking of? What are those called? I don't remember what those are called. But throwing a bunch of those on the court, I'm distracting myself. I'm getting sidetracked. I need to stay on this. You're on a roll, Nick. You're on a roll. Stay with it. But okay, so the United States starts going down to Serbia. They're down 17 at one point. Again, man, I'm like, how do I sell this? I'm contemplating not mentioning it at all. I was like, can I get through an hour of a show where the United States loses in the semifinals to Nikola Jokic and Serbia and not mention it? Can I do that? The United States will be playing for bronze at 5 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. Gold medal match between, who would it be? Who the fuck did France just beat? This has to stay in the show. This is brutal. Are you dumb? Who did France just beat? You were just watching it. You were literally just watching it. This is the coping hour. It all stays in Germany. It was Germany. Shout out to France, actually, because this story was kind of 80 years in the making. France finally kicking the Germans out of Paris without the help of Western forces, by the way. They didn't even need the United States and fucking everybody else to come in and save their asses. They did it on their own. Damn it. Shout out to France for that. And guess what? We got there. It was Germany that they beat. Gold medal match between Germany and Serbia, 5 o'clock in the morning, Eastern time. So it's 4 o'clock for me. What the hell? That's bonkers. At least gold medal, it's going to be, at 3:30 Eastern? Perfect. Love that. Well, especially on a Saturday. Like, yeah, sure. Why not? The United States kind of slowly starts to get back into this game. They're down 6 at one point. Either late in the third, I think, is maybe early in the fourth. I think it was late in the third. Down 6, but then Serbia just comes back. 3. I'm sweating bullets because it feels like there's real consequence in that moment. The United States is on the ropes. They have LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry on the floor at the same time, and they're on the ropes. What the fuck is going on? And then what happens? They start the fourth quarter, and they say the aforementioned three, Steph, KD, and LeBron, it's you guys. Was it Joel Embiid? No, it was Anthony Davis to start the fourth, and then Devin Booker. What the hell? Are you guys... I'm rubbing my eyes like a damn Looney Tunes character. Are you seeing this? I'm in awe that the three of those guys, I'm feeling it again. Like, that meant something to me. And I hope that you guys felt that too. By the end of it, the guys that you wanted to deliver, every single one of them did. Every single one of those dudes had a moment. KD had the one, I think, at the beginning of the fourth. He hits that, what did they end up ruling it? I don't think they gave him a 4-point play on it. But it was AD got pushed into KD while he was shooting the three. It's bucket. And then he had one late in the game, like last 90 seconds, where he just does the KD thing where he lulls a motherfucker to sleep, gets 2 feet inside the perimeter, right between the eyes, rips the net. It doesn't touch the rim. You know, LeBron had a few of those coast to coast, fuck it, I'm putting a shoulder down, you're not stopping me, like reverse layup. Had a couple of those. Dog. And Steph finishes with, what did he finish with, 36? The Olympic record for the United States men's is 37, Carmelo Anthony, who, by the way, was sitting courtside. Shout out to Quavo. Quavo was also sitting courtside. But they had Carmelo Anthony sitting courtside, and you could see him, like, being like, swing that shit to Steph. Like, let him get the record. Or maybe he was just gassing the dudes. I don't know. But it seemed like he was like, dude, go get him. Maybe it was because Noah Eagle said something about that, too. I think maybe he could hear what Carmelo was saying. It was something like that. But on that stage, to deliver those moments, moment after moment. I'm also kind of bearing the lead that Joel Embiid had, bearing the lead, Joel Embiid, unintentional rhyme. I do that from time to time. Dr. Seuss in this news, really on a roll with those today. Joel Embiid had a stretch in the fourth quarter where he's got 7 straight. By the way, they're like all on Jokic. Talk about a subplot to a subplot to a subplot. We get Joel Embiid versus Nikola Jokic in the Olympics? Hell yes. Amazing. Chef's kiss. What else was there to do in this game? Like, honestly, like, sure, Steph breaking the record would have been cool. Hey, I don't know. I'm so sorry to disrupt this, but if that audio is picking up, there's a non-zero chance. So here in Chicago right now, the Air and Water show is about to happen this weekend, which is literally they just fly a bunch of fucking military-grade planes around the city. And I'm talking low, like war planes, like F-15s. Motherfucking B-52 was just, I don't know if they actually still commission those, but it was one of those type of planes. Just fucking doing the rounds. Make this like subsonic sounds. Like, seriously, we have a fucking 3-month-old trying to sleep, and constantly he's being woken up, and it will keep happening this weekend. He's already had this like problem with like she's explaining it's like a regression, like a sleep regression. He's in the 3-month phase where now so he just got over that, and now the city is like, oh, but we have to put shit on for the tourists. Hands down, the worst thing about living in Chicago is that once a year in August, there will be a, like, Lala, whatever. You can avoid it. You can't avoid fucking war planes, F-15s and shit, flying 1,500 feet around above the ground, just around the city for 3 straight days. It's fucking unbearable. And God forbid because this happens to everybody. This happened to us. By the way, just yesterday was the 5-year anniversary of us moving to Chicago. So round of applause for us, right? Which means, again, everybody goes through this when you move here. You don't know that it's coming. It doesn't clock, especially if you don't know anybody that lives here. Nobody's going to tell you that the Air and Water show is happening. You will wake up one day. Go check the Chicago subreddit and see what people are saying right now. Oh my God, what are all these jets? Are we being invaded? Especially when all the Ukraine shit happened originally, like, what was that, 2.5 years ago? And just a couple of months later, people say, oh my God, you think you're under attack. Because, like, randomly, you'll just get woken up to fucking jets flying in, like, formation and doing all of this bullshit. It's the worst shit in the world. And you would think I would be excited about it, especially right now because of the Olympics and how, like, patriotic, honestly, I am feeling. Because it's the one thing that I don't care about the Winter Olympics, but like it's the one thing about conservatives that I'm jealous of is just how blindly they're able to just be like, fuck yeah, America, hell yeah. All that matters is I live here, and like nothing else about I don't need to contextualize anything. America just rules. It looks fun, honestly. It looks fun. But I can't in good faith do it, right? Because I mean, like, but during the Olympics, I don't care. Fuck yeah, I get 2 weeks of being like, America is awesome. So you would think that all these planes and bullshit flying around, I'd be like, yeah, USA, yeah, fuck yeah. No, I want my son to be able to sleep. That's what I want. So Team USA closes this game out. A funny thing that I clocked is LeBron couldn't get, like, his hair, dude, on a plane. He doesn't have anybody in Europe to do it for him. Because we're seeing, like, full, like, no makeup LeBron. Like, really unravel here in Paris. I've never seen this much gray in his beard. He must touch that shit up, like, every single day. Even his hair, it's like, I don't know. He just doesn't have I don't know. Usually he's more refined. I just thought, all right, okay. LeBron just doesn't have a guy out there. He's looking pretty rugged. But damn if that's not Captain America. And then even the other day, was it against Brazil that he brought the headband back? Was that against Brazil? I think it's what that was. Hey, so what about France? That game ruled. Let me just put a bow on it, make sure I got nothing else to say. United States knocks off Serbia in, again, truly one of the more fun environments that I've seen in an international game of basketball. That absolutely ruled. And go USA. Probably going to win the gold. Probably, but let's unpack it because France is pretty good. France is good. What's weird is Victor Wembanyama, you can't be like, yeah, he just had like a normal game. Because by his standards, what does that mean? You know what I mean? Like, so he played pretty fucking well? Yeah, sure. But like, he hasn't had that many moments on offense. Defensively, he's been pretty solid. He's been Victor Wembanyama. Offensively, Dwayne Wade wanted him to hit a 3 so damn bad. Every time they went down the floor and Victor had the ball, 27 feet from the basket, D-Wade would be like, oh, here it comes. And honestly, a lot of the time it did. It just never went in until like the fourth quarter. You finally hit one. The whole game, he was just mad. Oh, Victor Wembanyama's going to hit a big 3 in this game. That's not ambitious enough of a take for me, Dwayne Wade. I need more specifics because that's like saying I think Steph Curry is going to have a moment in this game. Yeah, probably. France has been awesome. I gotta tell you, you fucking Australians who listen to the show, we were this close. We were this close to having the Coping Hour Bowl. That Australia-Serbia game was nuts for so many reasons. Now, to be fair, I was only able to watch the second half of it. But I turned it on, and they're talking about Australia blowing, was it a 24-point lead? I think it was 24 points. Huh? And then I'm also seeing Josh Giddey and Patty Mills by the end of the game combined for 51. What? 26 for Patty, 25 for Josh Giddey. He looked awesome. Like, he looked great. But what's weird about Australia is they keep producing oversized guards who can play in the open court, but as soon as you get them into a half-court offense, they're a stick man. They're a stick person. They are a stick figure, finally. After the third attempt, I got there. Didn't get me. I was at an 0-2 count, and I got... but I got perfect contact on that one. They're stick figures. I don't know. You think about, like, Ben Simmons. Josh Giddey. Dyson Daniels, does he count? Yeah, he does count. He's on Team Australia, right? Yeah, all right. Was. These suckers are out. Oh, they smoked that game. Absolutely smoked that game. Duop Reith, though, here's what I learned. Dude, Duop Reith is awesome. That guy fucking rules. Because even though Jokic goes berserk in the fourth quarter, I think it might have been the whole second half, but the fourth quarter specifically, going berserk, and like Duop Reith is like face guarding him. And he's trying really, really hard. In like that Thanasis way. You know, that's all that it takes for me, right? When I talk about, like, the eye test, I don't care, like, if it doesn't work. Like, yeah, he still got his shit kicked in by Jokic, but he was trying really, really hard. That's all that I need. I just need the effort. I just want to say, that's why people always, like, think that Thanasis Antetokounmpo is a meme. I say they think he's a meme. Sure. But to me, I'm like, no, I actually really, really like him because those type of energy dudes, I just think are what make championship teams so fun. You know, like, you think back to the Bucks run, and every time the human victory cigar, Thanasis Antetokounmpo would come in, or it would be the middle of the game, and they were just like, hey, go eat 3 fouls. You know what I mean? Oh, there's another thing, just really quick to go back to Jokic played the United States with 4 fouls for, like, in real time, like 20 fucking minutes. And they just wouldn't go at him? Was I missing something? Because if you want to do anything, if you want to say anything about Steve Kerr, that kind of was annoying to me. I was like, what? Like, if Jokic isn't in this game, it's not a game anymore. Like, this isn't even a thing. Okay. What was I? Oh, and then just to zag back to the Australia thing. International Patty Mills is still that dude. He's still that dude. Still really, really good. Something about Patty Mills when he steps onto an interfact. I guess, what is it? The nickname is FIBA Patty, right? Do you guys think that's on Basketball Reference? Surely FIBA Patty is on Patty Mills' Basketball Reference. It all stays in the show here at the Coping Hour, where we look up players' nicknames on Basketball Reference. And it is funny to me that Basketball Reference was actually on the second page. No, FIBA Patty is not in his Basketball Reference nicknames. Patty Cakes and Pat Stacks. 2 for 2. I like those. I'm going to give Basketball Reference that's 2 for 2. Patty Cakes and Pat Stacks. What else do we have? France playing Germany today. Damn, did it feel good to see the Wagners be bad. Except Franz hit a pretty nasty shot. It's about the same distance that Steph shot from. What did we say that was, like 36 feet from the basket? Franz hit a big shot late in this game. I was like, damn it. Almost went the whole game of him just being horrible. That would have felt really, really good. I do think it's really cool. I mean, obviously they would also get to play. That he and his brother get to play for the international team together. But it is just really cool that the two brothers get to play on an Olympic team together. But also it's like, well, yeah, but also when we go home, quote unquote home, we just play on the same NBA team too. That fucking rules. I hate both of them, but that rules, right? That's very, very cool. Here's what I'm worried about with France is, like, in 2028, like the next time we do the Olympics. Because by then, I don't think Rudy Gobert, I don't know, maybe he'll be there. Probably. How old is he? Yeah, he'll be there. Even if he's not still Rudy Gobert, like, yeah, he's still there. Victor Wembanyama will probably have won like 2 MVPs by then. He might have won a championship, but he's just going to be terrifying. You know what I mean? But what scares me is the fact that France is like sneaky producing a lot of lottery picks these last few years. And the one that scares me the most is Bilal Coulibaly. because, and I saw somebody was, I think it was the Wizards subreddit. It was like, what does this mean that Bilal Coulibaly can't crack minutes on France's rotation? That doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. Kid's like 19? No, he just turned 20, I think. He just turned 20. Frank Ntilikina fucking rules on this team? Huh? Okay. Although Frank Ntilikina, if we're being honest, is one of those players that I think a lot of us still believe in. Am I speaking for myself on that one? I guess if you've already done the experience, like maybe if you're a Knicks fan, you're like, yeah, pass. Like I already been there, done that. Sure. But to this day, if a notification came through right now that the Detroit Pistons just signed Frank Ntilikina, I'd be ecstatic. How would you feel if that was your favorite team? Well, especially after watching oh my God, what's the guy's name? The guy with it all stays in the show while I figure out the guy's name. Yabusele. First of all, I thought he was still in the league. He hasn't been in the NBA for like 4 years. Whoops. Electric in this game. Hit a couple of and ones. And was one of those energy guys, actually, for France. And speaking of energy, I know I'm kind of yanking you guys around in this episode. We're kind of going topic to topic. Matter of fact, this is a non-zero chance that I've cut a bunch of stuff in the last few minutes, so hopefully hopefully I haven't been jerking you guys around too much here. But let's talk a little bit about Steve Kerr, because I mentioned him a second ago, and he is certainly the hot topic of Team USA right now. copinghoursubs@gmail.com, spelled phonetically. Email will be available in the description wherever it is that you listen to the show. This one comes into us from Adam. Adam, welcome to the show. Subject line, what's the deal? What's the deal with Steve Kerr? Hey, Nick, longtime fan of your stuff. I'm sending this email on the heels of Team USA coming back and beating Serbia. I couldn't help but notice this is the second game that Jason Tatum didn't play. Is Steve Kerr truly being a mastermind and sitting him intentionally, or has he just forgotten both times? Has Steve Kerr, there's a new guy just dropped, national television pundit, who's like, does Steve Kerr have Alzheimer's? Did he forget that Jason Tatum is on the team? Who's controlling the team behind the scenes? Is it who's the guy is it Mark Few? Is it him? Is he pulling the strings? Who's keeping Jason Tatum out of these games? I gotta tell you guys, I don't think it matters literally at all. You know why? Because we're winning. We're winning. If we lost that game, let's talk about it. If we lost any of these games, let's talk about it. You know who's not saying anything about not playing in these games? Tyrese Halliburton. He's not saying anything. Dude is literally just there. Also, fucking Langston Galloway. Is he like a reserve? What is he doing there? Why is he there? Love Langston Galloway. Great player. Better dude. Why is he there? Is it literally just because that's how good of a dude he is that they're like, you know what? We need a vibes guy, Langston Galloway. But as a matter of fact, the picture that KD took of all of the dudes like looking like a fucking AAU team, it's one of the coolest pictures I've ever seen. Fucking, if you haven't seen it, look up like Team USA, like, I don't know. I don't want to say team photo, but like, you'll find it. I'm not going to put it on the screen. Go find it yourself. Go do your own homework. I don't think Langston Galloway was in that. I don't think he was in that photo. Okay, but why isn't Jason Tatum playing in these games? I don't know, because where are the minutes? I don't know. Is KD going to get some minutes taken away? No. It's not going to be LeBron. It's not. Embiid has been playing pretty well. I don't know. Just don't think it. And you know what else is weird? Nah, let's stay on the Jason Tatum thing for a second. Again, they're just winning these games, so I don't think. And I also, any combination of player of this roster that you put in is probably going to win most games. And I think it's just kind of the pecking order of shit. Like, dog, this is the last time that. I don't know if I've said this yet in this episode, but this is the last time that LeBron, KD, and Steph will ever be in the Olympics. Jason Tatum's got a few in him. And so I think there's sort of like a seniority thing, and I don't think Jason Tatum gives a shit about that at all, honestly. Not to try to get in his head, but I think he cares. Wait, is that actually a take? No, I don't. Let me say this out loud. Don't listen to this, but let me say this out loud so I can figure out if this is actually a take or if this is like a duh. What are you talking about? Jason Tatum cares less about not playing in these games than Jaylen Brown cares more about not being on the team at all. Fuck, is there... I might be running before I can walk with that one. I don't know. I don't think the infrastructure is there, but I don't think... I need an engineer. I need an architect to hit the Coping Hour subs. email. copinghoursubs@gmail.com, spelled phonetically. Email available in the description wherever you listen to this program. Might need to also just, hey, I brought up Jaylen Brown since we're already talking about him. Before the season starts, will somebody hold me accountable on creating the Coping Hours Pyramid of Dumb so we can really start to document Jaylen Brown? Here at the Coping Hour, where we cover all of the biggest stories and we cover them from all angles. I don't have that many angles on this one, but let's see. If you hadn't seen this and you hadn't heard about this, Jaylen Brown follows Ryan Garcia and Andrew Tate on Twitter. Was making the rounds the other day. Whoops. That guy is in the craziest rabbit hole on YouTube right now. I would love to see if his data could leak and we could see his recent YouTube searches. Because what do you think it's like? We are like a month away from Jaylen Brown tweeting something about free speech. Anything about free speech. I don't know what it'll be. And as a matter of fact, put a pin in this. I'm not saying it, but put a pin in this. The Motown Noah, or the Coping Hour bingo sheet, Motown Noah bingo sheet, I think it was the Coping Hour 2024 bingo sheet. We said that somebody will get canceled in the NBA. And we hypothesized that it will be election related. Just keep an eye on Jaylen Brown, okay? Because I think he's starting to go into that mental wellness free thinker rabbit hole. Not a conspiracy theorist, by the way. He's been a VP since he was 21. Not a conspiracy theorist. Not a dumb guy. Not a dumb guy at all. What did this stem from? The Jason Tatum thing? I think I covered all the bases on that one. I think we got all of the angles on that big story right there. But I don't know if it's quite the inverse. But so people are shitting on Jamal Murray. We did an episode of the shoot around the other day where we talked a little bit about how people are like scared of Jamal Murray now. They're like, human resources. Like, fuck Jamal Murray. Get him away from Nikola Jokic. And I don't get it at all. Because haven't we... Okay, so let me set the stage here. So Jamal Murray has just flat out sucked for Team Canada. They got smacked around by France, and they were just bad. Kem Birch played like 100 minutes. They were bad. But Jamal Murray was extra bad. And so people have been... First of all, I'm pretty sure he's still... Was it a hamstring or a calf? Something on his leg. People have been saying that he's hurt. I don't know if that's true. But just throw it out there just in case. Just in case that it is. But my question is, haven't we just always said about Jamal Murray, yeah, he's a really, really good sidekick? Has there ever been a person in the world who you take seriously that was like, yeah, Jamal Murray is one of the 5 best point guards in the NBA? I don't doubt that we've done like knee-jerk shit where we've thought that, namely in like their title run. I don't doubt that we've temporarily thought it, but when you remove yourself like 2 weeks from it, are you still thinking that? I've never been there. Maybe I'm just projecting here. I've never thought that. I don't want to say you haven't either, but I don't think you have. So, okay, you guys have heard me do my favorite quote about Nikola Jokic cast a wide shadow, but Jamal Murray was built for the shade. I'm not going to say it again. I was just saying it so you know that which one I'm talking about. I'm not going to say that again. We've all known that, like, what makes Jamal Murray so valuable as a stabilizer is that, that's a little bit reductive to just call him a stabilizer, but for all intents and purposes, right? Yeah, he has Nikola Jokic. Because if it was just the Jamal Murray show, we're not talking about this at all. The guy is probably not going to make an all-star team, like maybe ever. And if he does, it's an injured reserve. It will not be because he got voted in or even picked by the other players and coaches. It will be because it's an injured reserve. A Mike Connolly situation, if you will, right? You spend your whole career, the difference being Jamal Murray wins playoff games and he won a championship. But you spend your entire career making an insane amount of money, but you'd never make an all-star team until year like fucking 15 when... How did Mike Connolly get in again? Oh, yeah, as an injured reserve. That guy. So then he shows up to Team Canada where he's not better than Shea, right? And then he sucks and everybody's like, he doesn't have Jokic. I don't know. I'm confused on why it's such a big deal. Because we've been talking about how, are the Nuggets kind of falling behind? When did this happen? When did the Nuggets kind of like... it's wild. A year ago, is Denver on the brink of the new dynasty in the NBA? And what's weird is it wasn't even because of the second apron. They just kind of like stopped doing stuff. It's like we're just like, yeah, our roster is fine. And then they got to the playoffs and they just like didn't have anybody that could shoot threes. And it was like, what the fuck? They just watched the whole league pass them by. They got fucking lapped in a year. What happened? And now people are hypothesizing that Jamal Murray is cooked. That's where we're at with Denver now. That's where we're at with them. So Russell Westbrook, get ready to learn like Serbian, buddy. I don't know. But you're going to have to become best friends with Nikola Jokic because we got to let's go. Let's get the show on the road. You know what I mean? Haven't cared too much about that, though. Also because Canada, respectfully, I wasn't worried about it. Hey, let's do some more emails. Ladies and gentlemen. Adam, thank you for that. Hopefully I gave you the nuance that you were looking for there. I don't know if I'm going to have too much on this one, but I think you in the comments might. So I did want to throw this out there because I think it's just one of those ones that I think you might have a better take on it than me. copinghoursubs@gmail.com, spelled phonetically. Email available in the description wherever you listen to this program. Subject line, most American sport. This one comes into us from Landon. Landon, welcome to the show. Hey, Nick, this is a stupid question. Well, then I won't read the fucking email. Let's do it. No, I'm just kidding. I was debating with one of my friends, and it seemed like just the type of dumb question you would spend an unnecessarily long amount of time talking about on the show. So I want your opinion on what sport/sports league is the most American. I believe that it is college football because it is only in America, it's nationwide, and the traditions behind college football are some of the most American traditions possible. But a close friend of mine claimed that it was NASCAR because of how patriotic the fans and events themselves are. So can you settle this debate and say what the most American sport or sports league is between college football, NASCAR, or anything else that I'm not considering? For what it's worth, I think you guys did get the best two. I think those are the two that I'll go. I don't know if some of you might say WWE. I don't, because the reason I don't know is because I don't know how global that is. And I'm pretty sure it is. So I don't think that's like an American thing. You know what I mean? But again, that's never been on my radar. I've never given a shit about that. The guy who, Tom, who always, if you're familiar with the characters of the Coping Hour, the frequent emailers, Tom, the one who always emails in while he's on vacation with his girlfriend, he's always in the bathroom. He sent in a drunk email the other day that I'm not going to read because it was about wrestlers and shit like that. I was like, I don't have anything for this because I don't know who any of these people are. So sorry about that, Tom. This is how you find out that I'm not going to read that shit. But it's okay. So it's just not on my radar. I would agree with you and your friend that it is NASCAR and that it's college football. With NASCAR, I think it is more reflective of a specific region of the country. Like it's the most country sport. You know what I mean? Like it's not a reflection of, I don't know, maybe it is in the sense that when people outside of America think about the conventional American, or rather, not the conventional one, but the stereotypical one, right? So sort of the opposite end of the spectrum there. They probably think about the cowboy hat wearing, like concealed carrying, Budweiser drinking. Although, is Budweiser gay? No, that's Bud Light. Bud Light is the gay one. So they can drink Budweiser, right? Or, no, I think they're also drinking Bud Light now. I think I don't know. I haven't tapped in on that one. But I think they can drink Budweiser. NASCAR watching American, like chewing on like a thing of fucking hay. You know what I mean? That maybe, but I think that's just more of a regional thing. People in Washington might fucking love NASCAR, but the culture is of like the South, right? Whereas college football, in the beauty of college football and conference realignment has honestly kind of fucked this up. It's kind of just what I was talking about actually, where prior to this, what this is, this upcoming season where now the conference is, what the Big Ten is 18 teams, and it's a whole fucking thing. The Pac-12 is the Pac-2. What you had were conferences that were reflections of the areas of the country that they were in. And to your point, the traditions of those schools always emulated that culture and what those people stood for and what they were about. Shit that they would do up in Seattle was night and day from what they would do in Tuscaloosa. You know what I mean? Because it was a reflection of the students and of the athletes, of the people. Whereas NASCAR is just kind of one thing. but those traditions of college football, I do think, and I also think you nailed it, that is also one of those things that you might be an international fan of the NFL. And through extension of that, you might, care a little bit about the draft and all that shit. But the odds of you putting time into, especially because you're never, if you don't go to those schools, if you've never visited the United States, how do you even pick a school to root for? You know what I mean? That's kind of weird. You grow up in America and you just you just have to pick not pick a team, but it's the local team or a team that you have family ties to or that you one day want to go to, shit like that. Sometimes it's oh, I was an Oregon fan just because of the uniforms. Yeah, sure. Yeah, that makes sense. Whatever. But I would still say that, even just talking through all of that, because for a minute I swayed myself to NASCAR, but I do agree with you that it's college football. The truth is, the NFL, maybe more so just because of how, military industrial complex pilled the NFL is. You know what I mean? Although it's not that different, and they've plenty of flyovers and shit in college football, so it's not. But the NFL also is, you get what I'm saying here. I don't know. It's football. I guess you said sport too. It's just football. It's the most American thing because nobody else cares about it. Nobody else has even tried to. It's just not fun for. It just doesn't matter. So, all right. Hope that answers that one. I'm going to pass the mic off to you guys on that one. This one, I'll do this one instead. This one comes into us from Kendall. Subject line, College Football 25. Dearest Motown Noah. Kendall, welcome to the show. Dearest Motown Noah, I'm 18, so I was in third grade when I played NCAA 14 in my friend's basement. I need one true piece of nostalgia back in this game, though. Can you use your BlackRock ties to bring back Mascot mode in College Football 25? Who do we need to ask to get this done? First presidential candidate to say, under my administration, we will have GTA 6 and Mascot mode in College Football 25. Then I will vote. Kendall, I got to be honest with you here. There are so many people out there that are just like you. That are where's Mascot mode? Where is it? Sound like Batman. Where is she? Where's Rachel? It sucks. I've just never cared about it. But here's the thing. I am with you in spirit on this one. So I will do the right thing, and I will make as many phone calls as I can to make this happen for you. 18 listening to this show. That's wild. I got to tell you, though, College Football 25. So EA puts out the first update for the game as of this recording this morning. And I was reading the patch notes. Guys, I can't stop playing this game. Now, what I learned is that on PS5, I can actually see what my playtime is on a game. I didn't know that. But it's just right there on the hub. I don't know how to say this. I'm north of 120 hours in this game. It's been out for 3 weeks. Now, to be fair, and to give myself some credit, because I'm not logging 9 hours a day, it's because the idle screen counts to your playtime, and I'll just leave it on for 2 hours. After I'm done playing, I'll just leave it on because I might come back to it, but then sometimes I just don't. I just end up turning it off. So that counts though. So the amount but even if I take off that time, I'm still at 80 hours minimum, which is still 3 days. So I have been playing the shit out of that game. And it's not without faults. I've been saying it. There's shit in that game that pisses me off, but it is the best time that I have had playing a sports game, period. And I don't know how long. Hey, I don't know if you guys know this. The Premier League starts in 2 weeks. I'm kind of doing the thing again. Oh, because the U.S. women. That's what I didn't talk about. The U.S. women, dog, they're so good. They're so good. The game that they played against Germany, Oliver Kahn rolling in his grave because Germany's keeper smokes the game. Absolutely smokes the game. So anytime I watch international soccer with the United States, men or women's, I do this thing where I get so invested in it that I'm going to wake up every Sunday morning, and I'm going to watch the slate. I'm going to watch the whole slate. Only Sundays, though. I can't do it every fucking day, but the Sunday matches, I'll watch those, right? I'll wake up. And then the season starts. You're like, man, this is fun. It's 8 weeks in, I'm just kind of like, all right, see, it's too long. I just keep up with too many. Also, by that point, the NFL and college football are in full swing. I'm like, all right, I'm doing something else now. I got my Sundays are, you know what I mean? I'm doing other things now. But the reason that I'm bringing this up is because a week or two ago, I was talking about how I root for Leicester supporter over here, who's got two thumbs and loves Leicester City. This fucking guy. But the problem is that they're playing Tottenham. Tottenham is James Maddison. James Maddison is my arch nemesis. So I'm going to have to, and they're going to get their brakes beaten off of them. I don't know where it's at. If it's in London, they're screwed. It's over. And so I'm going to wake up at, who knows what time I'm going to have to wake up. It'll probably be like 7 o'clock in the morning. I'll be awake anyways. Just to watch them lose like 3-0. And here's my thing. In a vacuum, no, I don't want to sit there for 90 minutes for the match to end 0-0. But it did for the women when they played Germany. I got to tell you, I was dialed the fuck in the whole time, though. And if nothing else, or rather if anything else, doesn't it kind of make it that much more electric when it finally does happen? Because they get like 5 minutes of added time. Extra time? Added time? Added time is first, and then it's extra. It doesn't fucking matter. It's semantics. You'll know what I mean. They get 5 minutes of added time. Nobody scores. And then 5 minutes into extra, we bang one in. Dog, I can't wake up my kid, but I'm fucking pounding my chest. USA! USA! Shit fucking rules. Be 0-0 for as long as you want. But the second the opposite of it though is what happens if it happens to you. Then you're like, fuck. Then it just hurts that much more, and you're like, damn. Then I'm pissed. Then I'm like, I sat here for 2 fucking hours. Watching this shit. So much fun. And the Olympics are coming to a close. I think we'll have one more show really of covering the Olympics, and that's gonna be it. Monday's show. I guess we're kind of gonna do a recap of the Olympics. I gotta tell you, folks, I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do if we lose to France. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know if I have to do like a punishment. I will soft commit to that. I will soft commit to a punishment that I don't want to pass it to you guys and be like, oh, the top liked comment. Well, I have to do that thing. If there's something funny enough, I'll pick it myself maybe, because you guys are going to do some dumb shit where you're like, read Mein Kampf on it. I'm like, not doing that. I'm bummed. Hey, speaking of recaps, I have gone the last 8 weeks without really talking about House of the Dragon at all. Mainly because I have had a decent bit to say, but it's not really what we do around here. But it will be for a minute here. And stay with me. Well, at this point, it'll probably be how we wrap up the show, right? So, okay, House of the Dragon Season 2 concludes on Sunday. First of all, the episode ends. My girlfriend does not watch the show. I'm out in the living room, and I walk into the bedroom. My jaw's on the floor, and I'm like looking around like I have shell shock. I was like, I cannot fucking believe that they just did that, and I just stood there and I just walked out. I'm in shock, and let me preface this with, I know some of you actually bitches are gonna go down to the comments and send emails about this. I understand that the report comes out that HBO is actually worth like a fucking lot less than what Warner Brothers thought they were. Just all of their IP and enterprise, all this shit. It's like the valuation was just way lower than they thought. They've lost like $10 billion this last year. So budget cuts across the board. Fucking season 3 of House of the Dragons are going to be fucking sock puppets at this point. Your most expensive IP to produce just had this dog shit season, which also got cut from, it was supposed to be 10 episodes. The writer's strike also fucked all of this up, because it was like 3 months before the writer's strike happened was when they learned, okay, we're going to have to condense this shit to 8 episodes. And then they didn't get a chance to do it. And then boom, they got to start shooting. I understand logistically, there was some behind the scenes. I'm really stumbling over my words today, man. There was some behind the scenes shit that handicapped the season, or because it was a good episode, but it's a fucking horrible finale. And when we've spent 2 years waiting to see the conclusion of a son getting murdered just to see another son get murdered. And then we spent 7 more episodes being like, all right, so what are the consequences of that? Like, what are the ramifications of that? Because we started the season and it's like Rhaenyra is our queen and we need to raise banners in her name. Great. I love it. Let's go to war. Rook's Rest happens in episode 4. It's like 30 minutes of some of the best television we've seen since like when? The Battle of the Bastards? Like, it was good. It was really, really good. And that was it. And then the rest of the season, from like a formula perspective, was the same shit every single episode. How many, is it Bela or Rhaena? Whichever, Rhaena, right? What is that? Spends how many fucking episodes stumbling around the Vale looking for a dragon? And then she finally finds the fucking dragon in the season finale. And before we even get to see what happens, that's it. All right, man. Off screen, she bonds with the dragon and it's hers now. The fuck? So what the fuck were we spending so much time watching her for? This show is just irresponsible with its B and C characters. Because you cannot give these B and C list characters nothing to do. There's nothing for them to do for 2 seasons until there is. And these consequences are real and these stakes are real. And look at how much you should care about these characters. I don't even know their names because you're not giving them anything to do. They're not important to me. Basically, everybody on Rhaenyra's council is dumb as fuck. They've just been dumb the whole time. And Jace is like the adjacent of like a high school fucking villain. He's just like serving face for 8 episodes. His shit is chiseled, no doubt, but he's a little fucking punk. Even if he's always justified, by the way, even if he's usually right because he's trying to defend his fucking mom, he's almost always right, but he's a little shit. He's fucking annoying. The show is dumb. I'm so bummed. I'm so bummed. It was literally an episode 8 in a 10 episode season. It just happens to fucking end with, by the way, we got nowhere. The season ended with them being like, Rhaenyra is literally the queen now. Like, literally, we are like, okay, we're all hands on deck. You are the queen. And now we're just going to go march to war. We've raised the banners, but now we're just going to go march to war. And just to, the evidence of it being a good episode was in Daemon's vision quest. That shit was awesome. Like, there were some great visuals in this one, for sure. The little Daenerys nod was very cool. It was very, whoa, Leonardo DiCaprio, me, like, that's Daenerys, whoa, Drogon, yes. It was awesome. But then you're also kind of like, isn't that kind of the problem with this shit a little bit? That the plot mechanism that drives all of these characters is the prophecy of A Song of Ice and Fire. That makes sense, because it hasn't happened yet. It's still a prophecy. But, not to break the fourth wall here, but we're the viewer and we know the conclusion of that prophecy and how it unfolds. And by the way, we know that it's bullshit. We know that it sucks. We know how it ends and it's not good. So when that's your vehicle, I don't want to get in. You know what I mean? It feels bad that is what drives these characters, even if it makes sense. And then you have the fucking showrunners being like, a couple episodes ago, Rhaenyra and Alicent, it was Rhaenyra sneaks into King's Landing and, they have this little fucking secret meeting. Alicent's like, what are you doing here? What are you doing? And that wasn't in the books, and the writers are like, yeah, it wasn't in the books, but people wanted to see it, and if it did happen, there wouldn't have been any historical record of it. The second take, if they just said that, I think that's fun. Stop fucking with the books, but that's cool. Like, that's a fun little twist. But doing shit because people wanted to see it is why Game of Thrones Season 8 sucked. It's not only why, but it was bad. It's really, really bad. And you also worry that these seasons are only going to get shorter now, too. If HBO... Because prestige television used to mean something, and I'm just not really getting it out of this show. I think the 1 or 2 times that I have mentioned it on this program, what my line would have been was, I will maintain that this show rules until it doesn't. I'm pounding the alarm. I'm scared for my life. Way too much mud wrestling. Like, it was weird to introduce the Lannister plot line and like what he's actually up to in that moment. But again, considering it technically was written as an episode 8, they just got fucked. But that doesn't make me feel better just because I understand that it was not really anybody's fault except for like Warner Brothers. You know what I mean? That doesn't make me feel better because I still have to wait 2 more years for a conclusion to something that season 1, for all intents and purposes, was the prologue to the actual shit, which was supposed to be season 2. And so now, season 3 is going to be all out war. Bitch, it better be, because you only have 2 more. They just said they're going to wrap up after 4. Unintentional rhyme. I do that from time to time. Dr. Seuss in this news. Shit. I got to wait 2 years for this. Are you kidding me? Man, it's one thing when why do we keep doing this to ourselves? Why do we care so much about this universe? Huh? Why do they keep doing this to us? It could be so good. It could be so good. Good for Allison, though, because the last 2 episodes of the season had to have been the first time in the fucking show that we saw her get to where we got to see her wear, there's English, a color that wasn't green. She got to wear white, and then she got to wear some blue. Cool. So here's a little thing, too, for those of you who don't read the books. I don't either, by the way. I did read the first, what was it called? The first Game of Thrones book. I don't remember what it's called. I did read that, mostly. And not all the way, because it's really long. And because I was just kind of like, I've seen the fucking show. I was like, I've seen the show. But the books were weird, because, like, Jon is, like, 12. Or Jon's, like, 14, and Daenerys is, like, fucking 11. You're like, Jesus, this makes it a lot darker. This makes it a lot weirder. Fuck, what was I saying? Oh, so I guess the whole Daemon being in Harrenhal for the whole fucking season, everybody's like, can this guy, like, commit a war crime or something? Can he do anything this season? What is this shit? Like, the most brutal battle we've seen potentially in this show, period, again, at Rook's Rest, and its most brutal character is nowhere to be found. I guess that's because during this whole part in the books, Daemon's perspective isn't shared. It's not told. So he just flies off to Harrenhal, and you don't know what he's doing. So they were like, well, we have to put Matt Smith in this fucking show, obvious. So they kind of just had to, all right, that's where you're allowed to take liberties. That's valid. And I guess, at the end of it, his purpose there paid off, I guess. And then the episode before that, Oscar Tully, was that the little fucker's name? The little kid? That kid was a badass. That kid ruled. If nothing else, the Game of Thrones universe does create a lot of badass kids, because the other one was Bella Ramsey from actual Game of Thrones. How did she die? Oh, yeah. No spoilers. Well, I guess I already spoiled that she dies. She gets fucking crushed, doesn't she? At this point, nobody's going to watch Game of Thrones at this point. I can spoil the shit out of that show. Battle of the Bastards. I was actually just watching it at halftime of the United States-Serbia game. I was kind of skipping around in it. God damn, what an hour of television that was. I think I mentioned it already in this episode. Hard Home is the other one, is one of the best episodes. Season 4 or 5? Season 4, I think. Hard Home is one of the best hours of television ever. Like, just glued to your fucking seat. And that's really what sucks, is how much of that show was genuinely monoculture. Was genuinely, because it's not for no reason. I know we know this, but this show was your personality when you were watching it. It was a lead question to a conversation. Do you watch Game of Thrones? That's what people identified with. And for that to leave the cultural zeitgeist immediately because of how bad they fumbled season 8 is wild. And that's what sucks about the fact that people just aren't going to go back and watch that show because, all right, well, you just saved me a lot of time by having a really shitty last season. And some people don't even like season 7 that much either, by the way. The finale to season 7, though, is, oh my God, it's so good. So you're saving a lot of people a lot of time, but so much leading up to that, man. People's reactions to the Red Wedding, and that thing that happens at the end of season 1, too. Oh, man. It's really, really too bad. It's really, really too bad that they have done this to us. Again, I believe the IMDb rating for the season 2 finale was the lowest I don't know if it was the lowest episode score since the Game of Thrones finale of like all of the House of the Dragon episodes, or if it was the lowest. Well, yeah, it just had to have been the lowest period. Yeah, I probably should have had that one straight before I started saying it, because that didn't make any damn sense. A rule of thumb that I did have during this season was Vhagar in the episode? Yes, it was an awesome episode. No? Was Christian Cole the fucking worst person in the world in this episode? Oh, he was? Hated this episode. Fucking hate that guy. Cannot stand him. At all. And what the fuck happened to him? Dog, Rook's Arrest turned that motherfucker into a nihilist. Allison's brother shows up and is like, you fucked my sister. Sorry, Grandma, but that's what he says. And I'm going to kill you. I'm going to cut your fucking head off in front of everybody. And Christian Cole just like looks up at him and is like, if I die, that would be fucking sweet as hell, actually. Whoa. What? The scene was awesome. It was like, whoa, what the fuck happened to you? And honestly, it was the only scene that we even got of him in the episode. Love it. No notes. I got nothing. All right, fine. That's cool. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are, I'm going to watch season 3 too. Of course I'll be there. Of course I will. And then what? I don't like the season, and then I say, oh, I'm done with this fucking show. No, you're not, because there's only 2 more left. So if you watch season 3, you have to watch season 4 at that point. You just have to see how it concludes. Nah, I don't think that's true. Because you should... It sucks to punish the actors, not to be that guy, but it sucks because Emma Darcy and Olivia Cook... That's the sort of the juxtaposition that I'm in. It is a little annoying to me that this is the Alicent and Rhaenyra show. It's like, really, those are the only 2 characters that like hold weight, it seems. But you're like okay with it because, again, Olivia Cook and Emma Darcy are the best actors in the show. They are the best actors in the show. And even though it's going to feel kind of bad when the Emmys come around and this show, like, I don't know how it's going to do. We'll have to see how it slates against all the other TV that's come out this year. But it's HBO. It is still considered prestige television. You know, it's the Game of Thrones universe. Like, it is going to do well. They deserve awards. They deserve it. It's just going to feel shitty when... I also, like, loosely know how it ends. Who lives, who dies. I don't technically know how. I know Game of Thrones itself spoils some of it. I know Joffrey has I won't say it, but Joffrey has a conversation with Marjorie? Natalie Dormer? I think it was her. Yeah, I think it was her. Alrighty, folks. I think that's going to do it for today's program. I think that's all I got for you guys today. Racking my brain. Not only did Australia smoke it in basketball, but they smoked it in discus. Women's pole vaulting, though, your guys' pole vaulter, freak athlete, like a complete cyborg, absolute specimen, tank unit. She was incredible. Noah Lyles, piece of shit, super spreading coronavirus at the Olympics. Watched him lose, quote unquote lose. Came in second in the 200 meter on Wednesday. That felt good. I just find him, he's annoying. We were talking about it. Was it on the shoot around or was it before the shoot around? I don't want to do a whole Noah Lyles thing because I think what he said about the NBA was just fucking annoying and weird, and the fact that he just like wouldn't stop talking about it was kind of weird and annoying. I don't have, you know what? This is good that I said it out loud because otherwise I would have kept telling myself that I do hate him. I don't, actually. I think he's annoying, but I don't hate him. Noah Lyles, if you're listening to this, dude, I don't hate you. But fuck off, man. You giving everybody COVID? What the hell? Nobody's going to be able to be a world champion if you fucking kill everybody in the Olympics. Asshole. If you're listening to this on Spotify, be sure to rate 5 stars. If you are listening to this on YouTube, be sure to leave a like, subscribe. Nice little comment for the algorithm. Keep primary control in check. I will catch you guys in the next one.